She didn't leave because you were too broken. She didn't leave because you didn't love her enough. She left because she stopped respecting you. And the part no one tells you. It didn't happen all at once. Respect doesn't explode, it erodes. It starts with one small compromise, one ignored boundary, one fake smile to keep the peace, one yes when your soul was screaming no. And suddenly, you're not her mountain anymore. You're the mudslide that used to be the edge she admired. Let's get this straight. You don't lose respect by being wrong. You lose respect by abandoning your own route in the name of harmony. But harmony without polarity is death. And that's what most men do. They trade their backbone for access. They trade their edge for approval. They soften, thinking softness equals safety. But softness without strength is not safety, it's sedation. And when she feels that sedation, that dullness behind your eyes, that energy that says, I'll do whatever it takes to keep you, something ancient in her switches off. That spark, gone. Not because she's cold, not because she's ungrateful, but because her nervous system no longer trusts you to lead. And here's the most brutal part. She might not even know why. She'll say things like, I don't feel the same. I need space. You've changed. And she's right. You did change. You stopped being the man she could surrender to because you started orbiting her moods instead of your own mission. Let's pause right here, because this moment, this is where most men make it worse. They double down on niceness. They become more emotional, more available, more accommodating, thinking that if they just open up more, explain more, care more, she'll come back. But she doesn't. Why? Because she didn't leave because you weren't nice. She left because you abandoned the polarity that created the spark in the first place. And here's the core truth. A woman does not respect a man who abandons himself for her. She may appreciate your efforts, she may smile politely, she may even thank you. But inside, she's drying up, because the version of you who is bending for her comfort is not the same man she fell in love with. She didn't fall in love with the man who pleases. She fell in love with the man who chooses. She didn't admire the man who seeks her approval. She admired the man who moves from clarity, with or without her validation. And when that clarity disappears, when you become unsure, apologetic, soft without edge, she doesn't consciously punish you. Her biology simply turns the volume down. This is instinct, not cruelty, not drama, just nature doing what it does. Let's decode one of the biggest lies men have been sold. If you just show her how much you love her, she'll stay. She stays when she respects the man behind the love, and that respect isn't earned through gifts or poems or over-explaining your feelings. It's earned through presence, rootedness, non-negotiable self-respect. Because women do not fall for effort, they fall for energy. And when your energy starts orbiting hers, instead of radiating from your own core, you lose polarity. You become predictable. And predictable energy does not seduce. It soothes, it comforts, it provides. But it doesn't create mystery. And without mystery, she doesn't feel that gravitational pull that makes her look at you like you're the sun. You remember that look, don't you? The one where she saw something in you that even you hadn't seen in yourself. That sacred look. That lightning in the eyes moment. You didn't earn that look by being soft. You earned it by being undeniable. You stood in your truth not because it was safe, but because it was yours. That's the version of you that commands respect. That's the man who doesn't ask for attention. He simply is the field she can't look away from. But somewhere along the way, you traded that for peace. You made your presence negotiable, and in doing so, you stopped being the gravity that holds the polarity. Let's go deeper. She didn't pull away because you were broken. She pulled away because you made her emotions more important than your direction. You made her comfort more sacred than your truth. And the second you did that, you shifted the polarity. The masculine leads with presence, the feminine tests for integrity. Not through logic, not through conversation, but through feeling. When she feels you abandoning yourself for her, she doesn't consciously say, I've lost respect. Her body just stops opening. The spark fades, the energy flattens, and you feel like you're chasing something you can't even name. That's because respect isn't given verbally. It's felt energetically. It's not something she owes you. It's something her nervous system either trusts or doesn't. And when you're no longer rooted in your own mission, when you've become a satellite orbiting her moods, you become too available, too explainable, too easy to predict. And what's easy to predict is impossible to revere. Here's what most men miss. She's not testing you to hurt you. She's testing to see if you'll hold your center. That's how she feels safe. Not when you agree with everything she says, not when you collapse into emotional caretaking, but when you can hold space for her chaos without becoming it. This is where men lose the game. They hear, "be emotionally available," and translate that into "spill everything I'm feeling at all times." Number emotional availability doesn't mean emotional dumping. It means you feel deeply, but you don't drown in it. It means you can be with her storms without abandoning your own sky. You become her anchor, not by fixing her waves, but by refusing to be moved by them. That's leadership, and feminine energy, no matter how modern, evolved, or independent, still aches to feel that leadership, not domination, not control, direction, purpose, conviction, calm-rooted clarity. That's what her nervous system wants to surrender to, and if she doesn't feel that in you, she doesn't feel safe to relax. So she takes the lead, not because she wants to, but because she has to. And when she's leading, she can't desire, because the feminine doesn't crave to protect. It craves to be held, and if you've become the one needing to be rescued, emotionally, mentally, energetically, the polarity is gone. That's not her being cruel, that's just nature correcting imbalance. Let's break a myth that's killing modern relationships. You have to earn her love. You earn her respect. Love flows from there. Love without respect is sympathy. It's caretaking. It's the soft pity she gives to a man she no longer wants, but doesn't want to hurt. You don't want that kind of love. You want the kind that looks you in the eye and sees a God. The kind that melts at your presence, not because you're trying, but because you're anchored in who you are. That kind of love doesn't come from effort. It comes from alignment. Here's where this gets uncomfortable. If you're bending, chasing, proving, and she's still drifting, you're no longer relating. You're performing. And performance is exhausting. It's unnatural. It's not sustainable. And it always ends the same way, with a man drained, confused, wondering why being a good guy wasn't enough. The truth, being a good guy isn't the same as being a man of substance. Niceness isn't presence, compliance isn't clarity, emotion isn't leadership. She'll never say these words directly because she may not even know it herself. But every sigh, every eye roll, every cold shoulder, every "I'm tired" or "not tonight" is her body saying, "I don't feel the man I once admired." That doesn't mean she's ungrateful. It means you forgot who you are, and you can't inspire admiration while you're begging for affection. You can't be magnetic while orbiting someone else's energy. She wants a man who radiates truth, not one who reflects her moods. She wants the fire, not the fog, the clarity, not the comfort, the grounded presence of a man who doesn't move when the winds blow. Let's talk about recalibration, because if she's already lost respect, you don't get it back by being sweeter, softer, or more available. You get it back by stopping the performance, by breaking the trance, by cutting the invisible cord between your worth and her approval. This isn't about punishing her. It's not about becoming cold or distant. It's about remembering that you are the center, not the satellite. And the center doesn't chase. The center doesn't over-explain. The center simply is. So how do you begin the return? Step 1. Cut the apology loop. If you're constantly explaining yourself, apologizing for your feelings, or checking in to make sure she's okay with how you exist, you've already left your throne. Take your power back by being okay with her discomfort. Let her feel it. Let the energy recalibrate. Sometimes the greatest act of leadership is not rushing to fix everything. You don't fix a woman's respect by catering to her emotions. You earn it back by standing in yours. Step 2. Rebuild your boundaries. Not as punishment, but as restoration. If she's always emotionally leading, it's because you've stopped drawing lines. Ask yourself, do I make time for myself? Do I speak truth even if it causes friction? Do I say no without guilt? Do I let her feel my full yes, because I'm no longer diluted? Boundaries aren't walls. They're the architecture of your value. They show her that your love has weight, that your time is sacred, that your attention is earned, not expected. When she feels the return of your edge, not in anger but in clarity, her nervous system recalibrates. Suddenly, she's not in charge. She doesn't have to be, and that's when she exhales and wants to follow again. Step 3. Stop performing for potential. If she no longer respects the version of you who gave everything, then stop giving from depletion. Pull back, not in retaliation, but in refinement. Silence is not passive, it's powerful. Presence doesn't always speak. It observes, it holds, it witnesses. And when she's used to you filling every space, smoothing every mood, answering every call for reassurance, your stillness will hit different. She'll either rise to meet your frequency or she'll fade from it. Both outcomes are sacred. Step 4. Reclaim your mission. If your world has started to orbit her reactions, her opinions, her validation, then your mission has become secondary, and no woman wants to be the god of a man who's lost his purpose. You were born with an internal compass, and no matter how deep you've gone into partnership, you can't outsource your direction. The moment you start waiting for her to give you permission to lead, you've already surrendered the throne. Take it back, not through aggression, not through game playing, through clarity of action. Do the thing you've been avoiding, say the truth you've been softening, move toward the vision that lights your soul, even if she doesn't get it yet. Because women don't fall for men who follow. They fall for men who move with gravity. Here's the paradox. The more you try to regain her respect directly, the more it slips through your fingers. Because respect isn't a demand, it's a response. It emerges naturally when you become someone she can't help but admire. That means no more emotional oversharing to gain closeness. No more collapsing boundaries to keep the peace. No more asking, "What did I do wrong?" when her energy shifts. You're not here to decode her moods. You're here to broadcast your truth so clearly that anything out of alignment naturally falls away. And if she walks, let her. A woman who doesn't feel your new frequency was never meant to thrive in it. Now listen carefully, because this is where most men fall back asleep. They rebuild a bit. She starts to notice the shift. Her tone softens. Her eyes light up again, and just when his power begins to rise, he collapses back into the old role. Why? Because he was trying to win her back, not become someone she'd never lose respect for again. He mistook the path of self-resurrection as a tool to get the relationship back, not as his natural state. And that's the trap. This work isn't for her, it's for you. Because you can't sustain her admiration if you're still secretly seeking her approval. You'll fake it for a few weeks, going to the gym, posting deep quotes, being mysterious, but underneath it, you're still trying to get a reaction from her, still measuring your progress based on whether she texts first, still hoping she finally sees your worth. But true power doesn't chase a reaction. It is the signal. It doesn't ask, does she notice? It trusts that the right frequency attracts exactly what it's meant to. The solar masculine doesn't rise to impress. He rises because it's coded in his bones, because he can no longer bear to betray himself just to keep someone who doesn't see him. He doesn't beg for energy to return. He becomes so whole, so alive, so anchored, that life itself moves around him. That's the frequency women respond to, not control, not manipulation, not fake alpha posing, but embodied leadership, sacred gravity, clarity without apology. This is your rite of passage. If she's drifted, if you've been disrespected, if you feel like a ghost in your own relationship, good, because the false version of you is being burned off in the fire, and only what's real can remain. You don't get her respect back with words. You don't get it back by proving how much you care. You don't get it back by trying harder. You get it back when she feels that you're no longer trying to earn it at all. When she feels your time is sacred again. When your eyes see through illusion. When your energy no longer bends to win her comfort. When she starts to wonder what you're thinking, instead of always knowing. When your absence says more than 1,000 apologies. When your silence becomes a mirror. And maybe, just maybe, you never even want the old dynamic back. Because once you taste the truth, once you feel what it's like to walk without codependence, to speak without seeking approval, to move with unapologetic direction, you stop wanting the version of her who only loved you when you played small. And if she can't rise with you, you bless her release, not from bitterness, from reverence, because every woman who lost respect for the boy in you was teaching you how to become the man who commands it without effort. That's the medicine. You don't heal through resentment. You heal by reclaiming your design. You don't punish her for losing the spark. You light a fire so bright within yourself that her nervous system either awakens or retreats. Either way, you no longer collapse. Let this land fully. You are not here to be understood before you're respected. You are not here to decode a woman's contradictions to prove your emotional intelligence. You are here to hold your center while the winds of confusion pass around you. You are here to speak with clean fire, to walk with grounded presence, to be unshakable, not because you never feel, but because you no longer betray what you feel just to avoid her discomfort. A woman's love is not a throne. Your own sovereignty is, and she will either choose to sit beside you in reverence or fall away as a shadow of the past. No more chasing, no more fixing, no more dying to be enough. You already are. Now embody it. If this scroll hit your soul, subscribe, like, and share it with the brothers who need to remember who they are. Comment below with what landed deepest for you. Let's resurrect the masculine together, not through rage, not through performance, but through truth. Your throne isn't lost, it's waiting. Go sit on it.